Hi. They say what is worth doing at all is worth doing well. And I say what is worth doing at all is worth succeeding in. And if leadership is worth it, then you should do everything to succeed in it. But in order to succeed as a leader, there are three key traps that you must avoid, three key tests that you would necessarily face, and three key determinants of whether or not you will succeed in that role. And those are the three aspects that I want to examine on leadership in 30 minutes this morning. Welcome to Leadership in 30 Minutes. And my name remains Olatunji Shobodu. I'm your anchor, and today I'll be speaking on the subject, the top three tests leaders fail. The top three tests that leaders fail. So are you a rookie leader, or are you an experienced leader? Or perhaps you've been at this game for a while, but it's not showing in the results that you are getting. I want to reassure you that the things that you need to look at are most likely, the three aspects I want to discuss today. And you have to quit looking at those things that we will typically, think to be the problem in our contemporary, approach to leadership. So you are not failing because you lack strategy. You are not failing because you lack the requisite skills. You are probably failing because of either or a combination of these things that do not look like they are very relevant or they should determine whether or not you succeed. But somehow they are so profound that they determine how the people you are leading see you, and they influence the quality of their commitment to you. Perhaps that's the way they determine whether you succeed as a leader or not. Because you and I know by now that if people don't commit to you, then you can't succeed if you are truly providing leadership. All right? Every good leader knows that the commitment, the strong commitment of the people you are leading is a requirement, is a precondition for you to record success. All right? So we want to look at these three aspects that I would encourage you to be mindful of. And it may well be your saving grace. It may well be the things that you needed to hear for a while, but you have been focused on the technicalities of leadership and not on these other somewhat salient, but determining aspects. So let me draw your attention to them. The first issue I want to talk about is to challenge you with regard to the interests you are serving. Whose interest are you serving? Whose interest is priority in the conduct of your leadership? Is it your own interest? Has it been all about what you want to achieve? Have you been applying your power and authority, all right, to meet your own needs? How have you been handling this very important aspect of that relationship called leadership. Remember that leadership is a relationship between the one following you and you as the leader. And so, because there are at least two parties, there are two interests. And for avoidance of doubt, the interest of the follower should be paramount in that relationship, not so much the interest of the leader. Yes, the leader knows what is right if he's a good leader for the follower, but the leader can't force the follower. All right, the leader must encourage and convince the follower to commit to him or her so that she can be put in the position where she benefits ultimately from that relationship. All right, so you see also that the relationship is designed to benefit the follower, not so much the leader. At least the leader's benefit will not necessarily come from the follower, particularly while that relationship subsists. All right, or if you like, before the follower graduates. So whose interests are you serving? If you are swayed by self-interest, you are using your authority, you are using your power to serve your own interest to the exclusion of the interests of the people who are reporting to you, then you are failing one of the tests of credibility of leadership. You are pointing to, you are already caught up with one of the things that causes leaders to fail. The truth is that if your people come away with the impression that it's all about you, that the relationship called leadership is all about you, then you have it all wrong. They're going to react. They won't commit to you. They will, hold you with levity. You have no reputation before that. Your leadership will be weak. Why? Because as long as they're not committing to you, and to the extent that you can't get things done by yourself, all right, which is why they are there, all right, your ability to realize the objectives of your leadership will suffer significantly. So that's the first. Don't be swayed by self-interest. Don't be tempted to use the resources at your disposal, the power, the authority at your disposal to serve self. Don't be self-serving. All right? So that's number one. Number two is closely related to that. Perhaps you are swayed by privileges. Leadership comes with privileges. That position comes with privileges. People say, well, it's not title. Well, it's not authority. Fantastic. But if you are designated as a leader, it usually comes with privileges. Usually comes with privileges. All right, including the privilege of knowing what to do, having been trained by, hopefully, a credible leader. It just puts you in a position where you may be tempted to take certain things for granted. You may be tempted, all right, to focus on enjoying those privileges, even when you don't need them. Even when you don't need them. The fact that privileges come with the assignment does not mean that you have to use them. All right? Those who put you in that position, in that role, expect you to use them. All right? Only as you need them. Only as you have need for them. And that means that you use them to facilitate the attainment of your objective, which means again that ultimately the beneficiary in the use of your privileges should be the follower, not necessarily yourself, at least not primarily yourself. But you see, some of us are using the privileges of our position, all right, even when we don't need it, exclusively. I remember some time ago, years ago, when I was, the CEO of a petroleum marketing company doing a turnaround, assignment. I had a quota of, petroleum products, a monthly quota. Okay. I had a generator and I had a quantum of supply of, petrol or PMS as we call it here, that was given to me. So on a monthly basis, the company was supposed to just deliver that quantity to my house. And I recall that many times for months running, I never used the opportunity. I never drew on, that privilege. It was a privilege. If I used it, nobody will raise any eyebrow. If you like, it was part of what came with the position, but I didn't use it. Why? I didn't need it. I already had two massive generators at home, and I was able to fund, the supply of fuel for one, which I was using before I came into that role. So the idea was, why did I need to do that anyway? And in any case, it was a company that I came there to do a turnaround work, to get the company back on its feet. So I felt, why would I be drawing on that resource for a company that I'm trying to get back on its feet? Okay. What signal will that send to the people working with me there? Because I would have just been taking care of myself. Yes, they see that is part of what was provided for me, but it will still stand in the way of securing their commitment, convincing them that I'm there for serious business. So for months, I didn't use it. And guess what happened? It was after I left, and there were issues that I put up that claim. Well, so all of this that I didn't use while I was there, now that our relationship has been determined, can you please, refund those stuff to me? Anyway, they're still owing me till today, but that's okay. But that's what we're talking about. The privileges were there. I didn't have to use it because I didn't need it. And because I understood that it will send a signal, the kind of signal that I needed sent to the people I was working with, to show that I was committed, all right, to their welfare, to their interests, and to achieving the purpose for which I had come to the company. So if you are swayed by privileges, you are setting yourself up and your leadership to fail. You're already failing the test of leadership. You're already failing the test of leadership. Okay, now let's look at the third. The third is whether you are swayed by wealth. Maybe I should have started with this one actually, but in this day and age, your guess is as good as mine. A lot of people, a lot of leaders are doing leadership, all right, by wealth, perhaps, or leadership that is motivated, by the quest for riches and wealth. The idea, hopefully sometime soon, I will speak specifically on, the relationship between leadership and wealth. But one thing is certain, leadership is not for the purpose of wealth building. Leadership is not for the purpose of getting rich. If you are using your position as a leader to enrich yourself, you have missed it completely. You are failing in your role. It's one of the tests that many leaders fall into. It's one of the factors that explain why they fail. You don't lead because you want to become wealthy. Now, so where is the wealth going to come from? the people who are depending on you for the transformation of their lives, all right, where is the wealth going to come from? Or you're simply going to use the people to serve your own objectives, all right, which is the enrichment objective, in which case the purpose of your leadership has been undermined, because the mandate of a leader is not to make the people wealthy, all right? It's not to make the people wealthy, it's to transform the people by adding value to them. They can go to become anything they choose to become, including pursuing wealth. But the leader's primary mandate is to deliver transformation to the lives of the people, is to help them, all right, to address the areas of shortcoming in their lives, to become more robust, especially in the area of character building. Because once you deal with the character issues, every other thing tends to fall into place. You secure virtually the future of the person, and the people can go ahead and do whatever it is. And they don't owe you as a leader any obligation, for example, to repay you for whatever it is you have done. All right? Because your reward doesn't necessarily come from the people that you trained. And so don't look to them also, as the source of your reward. This is one of the reasons that a lot of people fail in leadership. They believe that there should be something in it for them. The mistake they make is that they look in the wrong direction. What is the need for a seed that falls to the ground and dies in order to reproduce fruit and plenty other seeds? What's the need for that seed? Except a corn of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it will abide alone. All right, you and I eat today. We eat maize, we eat oranges, we eat all kinds of things, but they are the product of seeds. Have you ever bothered to ask what happened to the seed that produced the fruit that you are eating? That seed died. The seed died. You didn't have, even if you wanted to say thank you to the seed, you can't find the seed, because the seed sacrificed itself in order for you to have the pleasure, that you're having today. That's the way of leadership. It's not about you, it's about the people. And the dimension of sacrifice that the leader is called upon to make is such that the beneficiary may never have the opportunity to say thank you. Certainly not by way, of giving you some possession or paying you back in money or whatever. But there is significant goodwill that a leader can build if you do your job very well. And that's, of course, separate from having your own thing, which, like a business, which can be focused on making money and all of that. I mean, that's perfectly within, what you can do. But when it comes to the core role called leadership, it's not for the purpose of enriching yourself. It's not for the purpose of becoming rich. That's not why leadership, all right, that's not the essence of leadership. But a lot of people, like I said, fall into that trap. They have opportunity to take decisions, opportunity to, pursue certain initiatives while they are serving as leaders over a set of people, over a group. And from time to time, you see that their decisions are being taken simply to appropriate wealth for themselves. And if you're doing that, again, you are failing a very significant test. Very significant test. And if you are doing that, you shouldn't be surprised that your people will not commit to you to any appreciable extent, because they can see that what matters to you is the wealth, not them. In each of these instances that I have discussed, whether you are swayed by self-interest, which was the first, whether you are swayed by privileges that come with your position, whether you are swayed by wealth, it's an indication that your priorities are wrong as a leader. If these are the elements of your priorities, it's an indication that you have your approach to leadership all mixed up. It's an indication that it's time for you to change. Because if you stay on this path, you are not going to succeed. You are not going to succeed. If you remain on this path, you will not succeed. And if you are already caught up in any of these traps, it's the reason why you are not doing better with your people than you are currently. So it's time for you to change. It's time for you to change. All right. So those are 3 tests that every leader must avoid. All right. To have any hope of succeeding, of truly succeeding, of achieving effectiveness in your leadership role, you have to pass these 3 tests. And those who fail it, by the way, it's a pointer to the quality of the training they received. If you were properly trained as a leader, if you were trained by the right person, you won't get caught up in any of this. Next time, I'll be speaking to why some leaders, all right, fall into these traps. There's a central thread here, all right, and that's something that we must focus on. You must focus on. It's one of the ways to avoid falling into any of these traps. So that's it for today. It's been leadership in 30 minutes, and we've been speaking to the topic, the top 3 tests that leaders fail. The top 3 tests that leaders fail. Let me invite you to check out, our Smart Leader program. You should do that today. Get on it. It's a series. It's 30 consecutive days, and it comes to you, all right? A video is sent to your inbox, and, the idea is to walk you through what it takes to be a smart leader. You want to boost your capacity to lead within 30 days. There's a bonus day, 31 days. Every single video focuses on one aspect of leadership every day. And at the end of every video, you would find summaries, you would find assignment that you need to submit, and I will respond to them. I respond to them by video as well. It's a great experience, at least for those, based on the feedback that we have received from people who have gone through that. I encourage you to go through them, upgrade your capacity to lead, all within just 31 days. Remember, the 31st day is a bonus. 30 videos, one every day, between 30 and 45 minutes. How is there a better way, all right, to put your on a firm footing? I don't think so. So go ahead, use the link there, and I'll see you on that side. Okay, I'll see you on that side. Once again, thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe and to share the link with others. Spread the word, tell them. This is what we discuss here. Leadership nurtured by truth. That's our commitment here. You hear nothing from us other than the truth, the very truth that makes leadership worth its while, serve its purpose, that gets you and I to do leadership right. Enjoy what remains of the week, and see you again on Monday when it will be time for leadership on Monday. Once again, God bless you, and bye-bye.